guys, welcome back to another breakdown of Golden Kamuy Season 4, Episode 6. Halfway, baby. We are halfway through the season. This is the episode to literally shake up all other episodes because I'm very confused. I've done something that I don't normally do. Normally, I will watch an episode, write some notes, then go straight to recording so it's fresh on my brain. This time, I've had to sit down with a friend and go, hey, can I just bounce some ideas off you for a minute to try and figure out what it is I've seen and try and put some things into alignment for me. So much going on. There's now just this big mishmash on who's on what side, what people want. It feels like we're on a path to the end. It does feel like we're starting to gear up. We're starting to get sides. I do think with the title of next week's episode, I actually think I know where we're going. Perhaps. But before we get going, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. This week, you are going to have my midway review. I'm going to bring to you my top 3 animes of the season so far. My top 3 OPs, top 3 EDs. Is Golden Kamuy going to be on the list? You guys know I have a sweet spot for this anime, so we'll see. It's been a very difficult season so far to even rank. Everything's changing every single week. There's a lot of really good stuff airing. Things are literally changing left, right and centre. Last time with my end of season review, I had to hold off until everything finished and then I brought it. That video came out even later. Normally I have a week break. I didn't have a break. The anime literally started straight after that video because I had to sit down and think about what I actually thought about the season. I think I'm going to be the same with this season. This season is going to be really difficult to rank. Everyone loves Chainsaw Man. I love Chainsaw Man, but there's also a lot of stuff with this season that I care about emotionally, or I'm really heavily invested in. To kick off the amazing episode that we have Ariko coming under suspicion from Leaky Brain. He presents the skin in which we were told was a certain person. States that he's figured out the code is something similar to the tattoos. We knew there was a link to the Ainu. We already knew it was Wilk who was the one who drew them. But we do start to tempt the idea that if it's possible, he could maybe figure it out without a therapist's help. There's a lot of toing and froing. This entire first chunk is very deceptive because you are led to believe that Ariko is running away from Surumi. There's a lot of red herrings immediately in this first sequence because it's not being told from the correct angle. Because the real thing is, Ariko is running away with the skins that he was given. He presented a skin and we know that he's trying to get with Leaky Brain. And this initial first chunk is where he ends up being given fake skins. From what I can tell, these fake skins are made by the creepy skin dude. He haunts my dreams. Kind of reminds me of the serial killer dude, Edgeen, I think. Even creepier because he's running around and there was that weird sequence. I vaguely remember it haunts my dreams, guys. So he has made fake skins on real skin, but they're still fake. Even when Hijikata gets the skins, he states that the fakes are important because it had to be human or something. He doesn't seem too angry about the fact that they're not real. There's a lot of things going on that I'm sure I'm too slow and I haven't picked up on it or something like that. So we've got a lot of double agenting going on. This is where things are just getting confusing because there's a lot of characters who are very hard to read. For what I can tell is this initial first sequence is to set up Ariko is working for Leaky Brain. We know he wants to impress him. We know during the bar sequence of the last episode, he does state that he wants to try and prove his loyalty. So now he's gone to Hijikata and he's presented all of these skins. We've been told that there are 6 skins now. For some reason, I thought he had more skins. Could be true, because technically now we know he's working for Leaky Brain. Even if he does have more skins, he's just going to lie and say, this is all that he showed me. So it doesn't technically state that he hasn't got any more. What I think as well this first chunk is supposed to show us is one of the big differences between Hijikata and Leaky Brain. Leaky Brain states the difference between us is we'll punish anybody. I don't care who it is. I'm ruthless. I think that's the important thing that we also see later at the end is that one of these characters is happy to kill regardless of who's in front of them. Hijikata seems a bit more older traditional generation where he's a bit more respectful. They're both not ideally lined up with our main character and what she wants. To me, it always feels like Hijikata is the lesser of two evils. I'm always happy to see Hijikata on the screen. I was really sad because I did figure out at some point one of these characters could end up croaking. Hijikata is pretty old. There's a lot of things going on, and I think one of the points of this main chunk is just to show us one of the big differences between the two people we're dealing with. I was concerned that Hijikata wouldn't wise up, but I mean, I'm dealing with Hijikata here. He's a very smart man. Can I figure out what Leaky Brain is trying to achieve? What is his motives by giving the skins to Hijikata? Was it a chance that he hit a wall and he didn't quite know where to go and he wanted to give the skins to Hijikata in case he figures it out and then he can maybe use him to find the gold and then usurp the gold from him? Or am I now going to factor in what I learnt at the end and that end title, maybe thinking that he's prepping in case a Sirpa runs to Hijikata, just in case that then they figure it out and then he'll crush it again. So he does say at the end that he does need to protect us. They do still need her. She currently feels like she's in Leaky Brain's hands, but I think with next week's title, we're probably going to try and get out of Leaky Brain's hands. But Hijikata being a very smart cookie. The thing about this whole first chunk, even if it is confusing as how it comes out of it as Hijikata is smart. He's on top of it. He works up their spakes. He knows not to trust Ariko immediately. Leaky Brain always being that one step up ahead. Again, as always, very intelligent man. They are worthy of being the top 2 contenders right now to get the gold. Very smart characters. So I think that's mainly what we're trying to get across is the differences between them, how far one will go to the other, and also trying to get a copy of the skins. So both men, even if one has the real skins and one doesn't, they at least have theoretically the pattern. Then maybe there's something missing. I don't know how accurate those skins are. The sad chunk is bringing a close to where we are so far, a end of a chapter. We've got a lot of characters now that we're going to say goodbye to. It is a bit heartbreaking because, as I said, I feel like we're on the end. We're almost on that home straight. We need to start losing characters. It's time to start saying goodbye to some of our casts now. Inanoka and Chikapase. It's been a while since I've dealt with this character. It's time to say goodbye to them, and it's really sad because the hardest part for me was seeing Tanigaki cry. Surrogate dad type situation where he'd taken him on as a son and he saw him as a son, and I think that is the case. I think the reason why he starts to cry, and he does pass on the gun as well, so the gun is definitely a closing of a chapter. Because can you even remember those old days we even met that guy and they were chasing the wolf? I remember what happened. I can't remember what happened to the wolf. Sirpa had the white wolf, and the white wolf, I think she ended up setting it free for a bit, so maybe that will come back at some point. It feels like a different age. A whole age has now ended, and I think with the end as well, we are in a new chapter. And Sirpa's a new character. She's not the same person that she was before. We're saying goodbye to a lot of people. We also get to say goodbye to my boy, Ryu. Ryu, you are such a good boy, and I'm so proud that he ended up with a promotion. He's now top dog, but I miss him. I miss him already. He really is just a good boy, a true good boy to heart, and I'm going to miss these characters. I love Tanigaki. I think Tanigaki is an amazing character. I do hope at some point that we get to spend some time with him, and I'm worried. I'm worried for all my characters. I think I'm really growing close to a lot of the characters because of how well developed they all are and how much time we get to spend with them. Tanigaki, that was the sad point. We went from a very confusing chunk to a very sad moment, but it definitely feels like we're on the home straight. It feels like we're having to say goodbye to some of our characters. We've now got the 2 groups. We've got Hijikata, Leaky Brain, and now we've got Asirapa, Sugimoto, and Shiraishi. Back the 3 again. I'm so happy. They're going to have to make a decision. Fire drunk outburst. I think the decision has been made, and hopefully that was the wake-up call. Let's go back to a mysterious bit which seems to derail another character we need to talk about in a moment. The mystery of Spoilt Ridge Kid. The railroad mystery which Ogata was mentioning. From what I get from this railway thing, built on lives. I think there's even a road out in Russia that's built on Bones Street. I don't know enough about, but I know vaguely that there's a lot of things out there that have bodies underneath them. Leaky Brain, which I think is his motive. So this is meant to be getting across his motives, this bit here, is Leaky Brain is pro-territory expansion. He wants this gold to start a war. He wants to encompass this bit here where the railroad is, to get those bodies under the railroad to lay in Japan. Whether this is his true goal or not, or part of a goal, half of me wants to believe that he's going for world domination, that kind of route, but that might be reaching. It doesn't stop with just getting these bodies to lay in Japan's soil. I don't think that is just the end of it, but that seems to be what we're going for. It was interesting to learn that Ogata's dad opposed the railway, so he was anti-expanding territory. This is where I definitely called it. And this is something I was talking to a friend about last week. I told you guys that I heard Ogata twice. And I'm so happy that nobody spoiled this for me. Nobody actually said, yeah, you did. Nobody spoiled it. But yeah, I heard Ogata twice because Ogata was part of the Masked Men. Everybody in that 7th was. They all took part to kidnap Koito. We've seen it before where Sarumi has pulled huge lengths to try getting certain people to join him. Have this army of just loyal people who will die for him. That's the idea. He's trying to go to extreme lengths to get people. So we've seen this before. It's not surprising. But the point here is Ogata's actions. Why has Ogata decided to troll or perhaps even warn Koito if it is warning? I still think this character is just chaos. I think Ogata, to me, even after all of this, Ogata is Kefka from the Final Fantasy games. It's chaos. He doesn't really care. He's just a troll. I don't think he actually wants the gold for any reason that I can think of so far. Ogata has decided to mess with Koito by by giving away, making it obvious that he was there, allowed Koito to figure out the entire operation by giving him that word. Koito was part of a long game, and Tsurumi had played a long game to get Koito into his ranks, which he does most of the time anyway. The effect that it has on Koito, something that I wasn't quite expecting. I was almost half expecting him to not really think about it too much. A fanboy no more. It seems that Koito is actually taken aback by finding out that he was basically played. He got played, he got used. Leaky Brain needed the armies, he needed that military support. It's all about military support with this guy because Leaky Brain's motives is military. So naturally he wanted to get close to Koito's dad, who had the ships and had a lot of command when it comes to warfare. Now Koito actually seems quite upset about this. He seems such a big fanboy. I was like, okay, he's just going to allow it because he loves Leaky Brain so much. Leaky Brain uses people. We know this already. Tsukizuma threatens Koito. I'm going to have to do dirty work. I'm going to be the one to kill you. Threatens the silence. Saves Koito, but I think he sees him as a body that he doesn't want to lose, and he also respects him, so he's trying to warn him, look, I will have to kill you. But it's the reaction afterwards that makes me, that doubt is there. So he does the whole OTT reaction where he flips around, does circles, and bends right back like he normally does and goes, I love Tsurumi and stuff. I don't believe it. At this point, I'm actually wondering if the words hit close. I don't quite buy the reaction at the end. I almost want to say Koito could possibly not be a fanboy anymore. But it's very difficult to know with Koito because of how he reacts. He's a very OTT character anyway. So it's very hard to know if he's just stupid and he's now playing this reaction up. But the reaction to me felt so big, it almost felt fake. But Koito has learnt the truth. He's learnt that Tsurumi has lined it all up. Leaky Brain has planned it from the start. Ogata, for some reason, wanted to give warning. Obviously, there's a lot of things that don't make sense with Ogata, and I can discuss things at the end of him. The important thing now is let's talk about that end sequence and what it actually means. Because we do see that Shiraishi overhears everything. Everything that we just discussed. Everything with Koito, everything with Lieutenant Tsurumi, everything with the rail mystery as well. So he knows where the gold's going to go. So I think Sugimoto might also know about the war thing as well. Before we get into the outburst of Shiraishi, Sugimoto does state that he believes that Hijikata would be the better option. He believes that he won't hurt her. Lines up with what we learned in the episode earlier. The difference between the two characters is one doesn't really care about killing people and will do it if needed. But Hijikata, I don't think we've seen him kill unnecessarily. Sugimoto does announce that he does believe that Hijikata would be a better option. Leaky Brain would probably kill Asirapa once he got what he needed. Once she gave him what he needed and he had the gold, I actually think there's a possibility he would abuse her or he would abuse the promise if she tried to even broke from a promise. I don't think he's the kind of man who can be reasoned with. I don't think Sugimoto would even be able to barter on her behalf to get anything with it. Let's talk about Shiraishi. Shiraishi has been the character all the way through anime in general. He's the butt of the joke. He's always the comic relief. He's never really shown as being very serious. This is the serious Shiraishi. It dawned on me just a minute ago anyway. Shiraishi was there with Asirapa right by her side when Sugimoto wasn't. He saw her grow. He saw her as growing as a person. Kiraranki took her all the way out to look at life over there, look at our people. He sees Asirapa as a new person while Sugimoto didn't see that growth. Sugimoto doesn't actually know Asirapa anymore, and that's what he tries to drive home. Shiraishi is blunt, but it's needed, and I think Shiraishi needs to get drunk more often because this is serious Shiraishi right now. Drunk Shiraishi is the wake-up call I think Sugimoto needs, and we, the audience, also needs. This is it. You need to make a discussion right now. You need to become immortal Sugimoto once again. You need to become dangerous. Leaky Brain is going to abuse the Ainu. He's going to probably get rid of them. He will see them as a force and maybe even welcome slave labor type thing. He needs to let Asirapa do what she needs to do. Pro Asirapa leading the Ainu. Like I said last week, I believe that Sugimoto needs to let Asirapa make this decision. I believe that this is the moment where Asirapa's going to stand on her own 2 feet. And with the title of next week's episode, which is Escape, I think he's finally going to decide that we need to run away. We need to get out of here. We need to get Asirapa as far away from Leaky Brain right now as possible. Do I think running to Hijikata is the best option? Probably not. I don't think Hijikata stands a chance against Leaky Brain. He's too brutal. He's too ruthless. He plays dirty tactics. He's always one step ahead. I'd rather go and see what's going on with Hijikata, but at the moment it seems like our force to be reckoned with is Leaky Brain. Another character I want to quickly discuss before going out is Ogata. The amount of toing and froing I've had in this conversation before going to you guys, trying to work out actions, what side he's on. At the moment, I'm on maybe the fact that he is just a troll. He could be working for Russia. He's pro-Russia. So the reason why he tried to kill Asirpa is because he saw that she figured it out, and he knew that if she figures it out, she's dangerous and that Leaky Brain's going to get hold of her. And then he was pissed off because she wouldn't kill people. He wants her to be a leader. He basically wants her to be a leader that's fearless and is willing to kill. But then I'm confused because that also puts him very similar to Wilk, because Wilk taught Asirpa to fight. I'm very confused with this character. He's a very confusing character, but I don't want to get too hung up on it because I don't think he's going to come back or anything. I think I'm past that now. He's definitely anti-Leaky Brain. He's definitely not on Team Leaky Brain because everything he's done would undermine him. If he'd have killed Asirpa there and then, Leaky Brain wouldn't have got the gold. If he cared about what Leaky Brain wanted, he wouldn't have tried to kill Asirpa. Thank you guys so much as I've tried to work out this episode. I'm sorry if it's got confusing. You guys, you manga readers, you probably already know everything. As far as I'm aware, the manga is over. I think it ended this year. So you guys know how it ends, and I do thank you guys. The Garden Kamuy community is one that I've not really had spoilers from. I've not had to banhammer anybody or anything. I got that with another series on a channel, but you guys have been so respectful, and I really do appreciate that as I've been muddling through trying to put 2 and 2 together, and you guys have been so helpful. So I really do appreciate you guys tuning in and also being respectful, because it must be frustrating. Maybe even hearing me come close to the correct answer, but also not wanting to say anything because telling me if I'm close or not ruins it. Thank you so much. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this week's episode. I think we're on the home stretch, guys, and that's going to make me really sad. I don't know if we're going to end this season. Maybe season 4 is the end. Thank you guys so much. I hope you tune in again next week. I hope you're taking care of yourselves, guys. Bye bye.